Hello ladies and gentle trolls, welcome to the final video for my custom Hearthstone expansion, Return to the Rumble. Last week we ended with the cards for Paladin, so this time we'll start with the cards for Priest, starting with this card, Sansal's Mixture. This is a 6-mana nature spell that will transform a minion into a 1/1 undead mind slave, and will then move the mind slave to your side of the battlefield. In addition to all of that, the mixture also lets you choose between 3 random bonus effects for the mind slave. You might choose Amber Seed, which will give the Mind Slave +2/+2, or Blood of Heroes, which will give it Lifesteal. Maybe you pick Brave Moss, which will give the Mind Slave Reborn, or King's Blood, which will give it Death Battle Draw a card. You could also choose Shimmerweed, which will give it Divine Shield, or Strangle Kelp, which will give it Poisonous. Or lastly, you could choose Wild Vine, which will give the Mind Slave Rush. The mixture itself lets you choose one of these bonus effects, but you can increase this number by playing one of these cards, Silly Witch Doctor and Flask of Mojo, each letting you choose 2 more bonus effects on your next mixture. Flask of Mojo also lets you discover a nature spell. In this timeline, Priest would have access to these nature spells in Standard. I imagine there'd be some clever coding involved, so if you picked an effect that doesn't stack like Rush or Divine Shield, those options won't get offered again with your other choices. To round off this Sansal's Mixture archetype, Priest also gets the legendary minion, Sansal the Outcast himself.
Oh, who needs friends? Zanzil just makes his own!
Sansal is a 4-mana 3/4 minion that will cause all your future Sansal's Mixtures this game to have 2 extra bonus effects. And Sansal will also add a mixture to your hand, so you can benefit from this immediately. Return to the Rumble also introduces the new legendary exclusive keyword, Ritual. Cards with Ritual will split into an amount of offering spells when the game starts, and once you cast all the offerings, the Ritual card will be added to your hand. Each class gets a Ritual legendary, like Hakoa the Snow Leopard for Priest. I've shown this card in a previous video, so I'll keep it brief. Hakoa is a 10-mana 6/6 beast, and she will destroy the enemy hero when played. But she also has Ritual +5, so she will split into 5 different offering spells when the game starts, and only once you played them all will she be added to your hand. But Priest also gets this nature spell, Cauldron of Chaos, which might help you find your offering spells. Next up we got the cards for Rogue, starting with the Ritual legendary, Shadra the Spider. I've also shown this card before, so once again I'll keep it brief. Shadra is a 5-mana 6/8 beast with Ritual +3 and a battle cry that will wrap your opponent's hand in web for 2 turns, which means they can't play any cards from the hand for their next 2 turns. Shadra's 3 offering spells look like this. Last time I showed Shadra, there were a lot of comments on her design, so this card is definitely going to change in an upcoming patch notes video to say once per game. Rogue also gets this minion, Spawn of Shadra, which is ideal to use alongside Shadra. Another card that works well alongside Shadra is her High Priestess, Yasma.
I have eyes everywhere.
Yasma is a 4-mana 4/4 legendary minion, and when you play her, she will send a spy to your opponent's hand. The spy is a 4-mana 1/1 minion, and at the end of each turn while it's in your opponent's hand, it will steal a random adjacent card and add it to your hand. I'm curious to hear what you guys think about the balance of this card. In general, Rogue gets a lot of support cards for getting enemy cards and cards that didn't start in your deck, like all these cards. This includes this new spell, Shadra's Web. This 3-mana spell will wrap an enemy minion in a 0/1 web for 2 turns, which means the minion will be transformed into a 0/1 minion, and after 2 turns it will be transformed back. But if the web dies, the minion wrap will be added to your hand. Moving on, we got the cards for Shaman, starting with the Ritual legendary, Akilson the Eagle. This 5-mana beast has Ritual +3 and a Rest of Game effect. If you didn't see the previous videos, Rest of Game is a new evergreen keyword, and it's basically a battle cry that lasts till the end of the game. Akilson's Rest of Game effect will cause your cards and effects that overload to refresh mana crystals instead of locking them. So if you played a card with overload 2, you would refresh 2 mana crystals. But since Akilson has Ritual +3, you must first play his 3 offering spells before he is added to your hand. Shaman gets a couple overload support cards, like Mushok Warlord and Crashing Waves. Shaman's other legendary in Return to the Rumble is Witch Doctor Neslia.
He elements, answer my call!
Nestleok is a 4-mana 3/3 minion, and if you've cast a Fire, Frost, or Nature spell this turn before playing him, he will summon Totemic Spirits depending on the schools you cast. If you cast a Fire spell, he will summon Pogaean Fire Spirit, which is a 5/3 elemental beast with fire spell damage +2, and when it dies, it will get resummoned the next time you cast a Fire spell. If you cast a Frost spell, he will summon Mahamba Water Spirit, which is a 3/5 elemental beast with Rush that will freeze any character it damages, and get resummoned the next time you cast a Frost spell. If you cast a Nature spell, he will summon Zul'Kalu, Earth Spirit, which is a 5/5 elemental beast with Taunt that will get resummoned the next time you cast a Nature spell. If you've cast multiple of the spell schools, you will summon multiple spirits, up to all 3. Shaman gets a lot of support for these 3 spell schools. This includes this new weapon, Blood Scalp Fetish. This is a 0/3 weapon, and after you cast a Fire, Frost, and Nature spell with the weapon equipped, it will lose 1 durability and summon a 5/5 elemental. When you have the weapon equipped, it comes with a cool little interface with 3 segments that light up after you cast one of the schools, with red for Fire, blue for Frost, and green for Nature. They will light up in the order you cast the spells, and once you cast all 3 spells, you will summon the elemental and the meter will reset. For Warlock, I made the ritual legendary Quetzalcoatl the Wind Serpent. Quetzalcoatl is a 6-mana 10/10 minion with Rush and Lifesteal, and when you play her, she will set your maximum health total to 50. This will do nothing for your current health total, but with her Rush and Lifesteal you will get to 50 health in no time. This looks very powerful, but Quetzalcoatl also has Ritual +3, so you must first draw her 3 offering spells. As you can see, all of these offerings are cast when drawn, so you don't have to pay the mana to cast them, but they each provide you with some kind of downside when cast. Once you've drawn the final offering, Quetzalcoatl will be added to your hand immediately before you draw another card. To help you get to 50 health, Warlock also gets Backup Healthstones. This is a 1-mana spell that you can cast 3 times, each time restoring 4 health to your hero. The rest of the cards for Warlock revolve around a new token called Fell Golem. This is a demon that starts out as a 2/2 minion, but it will gain +2/+2 each time it's summoned, and when it reaches 6/6, its art will change, and once again when it reaches 12/12. Fell Golems are summoned by discarding many of the new Warlock cards from Return to the Rumble. This includes Warlock's other legendary, Jaraxxus Tournament Trasher.
We return!
Jaraxxus has come to ruin the Rumble, and he is a 5-mana 3/8 demon with Rush. But if you discard Jaraxxus, he will summon a Fell Golem and then return to your hand so you can discard him again. Warlock also gets some new cards that discard your cards. Now for the cards for Warrior, starting with a ritual legendary, Nalorek the Bear. Nalorek is a 5-mana 1/10 beast with Ritual +3, Rush, and a Rest of Game effect that will cause all your excess damage on minions to hit the enemy hero. Nalorek starts out with only 1 attack, but you can increase this number through his offering spells, which each have ways to increase Nalorek's attack. Warrior also gets a few new tools to deal excess damage, like Jin Rock and Axe Throw. Warrior also gets cards for a menagerie package, such as all these cards. This includes Murkgil Colossus. This 5-mana 5/6 elemental has Taunt and will shuffle 3 2/1 Murlocs into your deck that are summoned when drawn. This new menagerie package is supported by Warrior's other legendary, Fell King Bangladesh. This once proud King of Stranglethorn has been tainted by Fellfire. Bangladesh is a 7-mana 5/5 demon beast with Rush and a death rattle that will give +5/+5 to a minion of each unique minion type in your deck. This means he will give up to 12 different minions in your deck +5/+5 if they each have at least 1 unique type. With Jaraxxus here and Bangladesh corrupted by Fell, it's obvious what's going on. The Burning Legion is invading Stranglethorn Vale, and they are led by Invasion Lord Kazak.
You face the might of the Burning Legion.
We've now moved on to the neutral cards. Kazak is a 9-mana 10/10 legendary demon with Rush, and he has Overkill, summon another random demon with cost equal to the excess damage up to 10. I don't think I've mentioned it before in this video, but Overkill returns in Return to the Rumble. You probably already noticed. Speaking of Overkill, here's some neutral cards with Overkill. The neutral set also includes this card, Corrupt Referee, which will cause all your kills to be overkills while it's on the battlefield. This means your overkill cards will trigger even if they didn't deal excess damage as long as it was lethal. Then there's this neutral legendary, King Rastakhan himself.
The power of Eloa flows through me!
Rastakhan is a 10 mana 10/10 minion, and when you play him he will deal 5 damage randomly split among all enemies. But if you deal 5 excess damage while Rastakhan is in your hand, he will get upgraded to deal 10 damage instead, and deal another 5 excess damage and it will be 15 damage. You can keep upgrading this number by 5 as long as you keep dealing excess damage, but if you deal more than 5 excess damage with a single attack, Rastakhan will only upgrade 1 stage. The neutral set also includes these cards which will trigger a bonus upon death if they weren't overkilled. They are led by Rastakhan's rival, Sul the Prophet.
Return your blood to me!
Sul is a 5 mana 3/6 legendary minion, and he only takes half damage, rounded up of course. But then when Sul dies, if he wasn't overkilled, he will get resummoned to the battlefield. If you're playing with a ritual legendary, you would probably also want to have this card, Rumble Ritualist. This 4 mana 4/4 minion will draw an offering spell as long as your deck has 2 or more. Each expansion also includes a free legendary, and that's no different for this set.
Keep your nose clean in my town.
Baron Revelgas is a 3 mana 4/4 legendary with a start of game effect that will give both players an option to vote for a law on their first turn, and if they voted for the same one, it will be enacted on the second turn. The laws are bonuses that last for the rest of the game. This includes the Law of Arms, which will give minions +1/+1 this game, or the Law of Magic, which will cause spells to cost 1 less this game, but not less than 1. Or finally the Law of Trade, which will give both players an extra mana crystal starting from their second turn. If both players have a Revelgas in their deck, you get to vote for 2 laws. Now I'll save the best for last. The last big mechanic of Return to the Rumble are the new team cards. These are 5 neutral cards that each have a different effect depending on what class you're playing. They always have the effect of your class, even if you copy one from your opponent, and the only time you ever see the base version is during deck building. And they also have a banner underneath the mana crystal to show which class they're for. There's 55 tokens for these 5 cards, so I won't talk about them all in detail. Instead I'll show them on the screen and you just have to pause. Or you can follow the link in the description and see them in your own pace, but more about that in a bit. These team cards include the Team Player, which is a 1 mana 1/3 minion. Team Player gets a different keyword depending on your class, such as Reborn for Death Knight or Poisonous for Hunter, or sometimes extra effects like both Rush and has +2 attack while damaged for Warrior. Then there's Team Mascot. This is a 3 mana 2/4 beast. Team Mascot will have both a different effect and sometimes also a different minion type depending on your class. Just ignore the quotation marks on the type, it's just for flavor since this is obviously just a gnome in a costume. There's also Team Spirit. This 2 mana 0/3 undead is a callback to the spirits from Rastakhan's Rumble and also has stealth for 1 turn just like them. Team Spirit has a different effect and sometimes also an extra minion type depending on your class. There's already been some comments on some of this one's variants, like the Mage and Demon Hunter version, so they will probably change in a patch notes video. Then there's Team Giant. This 10 mana 8/8 undead is the giant minion of the expansion, and like all giants it has a cost reduction, this time depending on what class you're playing. This could be things like cost 1 less for each time your hero attacked for Druid, or my favorite, cost 2 less for each time this was discarded. Whenever you discard this, return it to your hand for Warlock. The last team card is the legendary Sansa Team Coach.
Time to bleed!
This 5 mana 5/5 undead will cast a different enchantment depending on your class. This means it will give another minion bonus stats, like +4/+4 for Paladin, or +3/+3 and another effect for many of the other classes. Well, that's it for all the cards in Return to the Rumble. There were a few I didn't show in these videos, so if you want to see all 145 cards for yourself, check out the link in the description, which will take you to an overview of the entire expansion. And so Return to the Rumble comes to an end. Almost! There's still the patch notes video, so if you have any notes on the cards, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching guys, hit the like button if you enjoyed this look into Return to the Rumble, and subscribe for more custom Hearthstone content. And with that, I will bid you adieu.